Welcome back to NBA Today.
Now to a developing story out of Milwaukee. The NBA announced that Bucks forward Bobby Portis Jr. has been suspended without pay for 25 games for violating the terms of the NBA and NBPA's anti-drug program. He tested positive for tramadol. Now, his agent, Mark Bartelstein, released this statement saying in part that Bobby unintentionally took a pain medication called tramadol, thinking he was taking a pain medication called Toradol. The tramadol pill he took came from an assistant of his with a valid prescription for the painkiller, which he mistakenly told Bobby was Toradol here. So back with our senior insider, Shams Charania. Shams, what more can you tell us about Bobby Portis' suspension here?
Malika, Bobby Portis will lose almost $3 million in his suspension, and the Bucks will lose a premier sixth man, someone that's so vital for them. They're 29-24 in the thick of it in the Eastern Conference standings, and he's going to be out until at least April 8th. With 4 games left in the regular season, but he took a banned substance called tramadol. It's a strong painkiller. It's on the banned substance policy of the anti-drugs policy. And Mark Bartelstein told me that he unintentionally took this pill instead of Toradol, which is frequently sometimes used by players to get over and alleviate pain. And in this instance, Mark Bartelstein told me that Bobby Portis used this in the fall to alleviate pain from an elbow injury. This really shortens and thins the margin of error for the Bucks with Bobby Portis out at least through April 8th.
Yeah, Shams, this is difficult news for the Milwaukee Bucks, who are already dealing with a bunch of different injuries. We will certainly continue to track this story. We appreciate you stopping by with that information. And to your point, the Bucks have a pretty tough outlook here. Giannis, Dame, dealing with those nagging injuries. They are listed as questionable tonight versus the Clippers. But now this Portis suspension, Milwaukee has the toughest remaining schedule in the Eastern Conference. So this really could make or break their season right here. They're currently in 5th. They have 29 games to go. That means Bobby will be eligible to return with 4 games remaining, as Shams mentioned. So, Brian, how much will this suspension impact the Bucks during that final sort of sprint toward the postseason here?
Significantly, because, this is a team that struggled to get 7 or 8 rotation players that they believe in. Doc Rivers has been searching for that. They do, picking up Kyle Kuzma at the trade deadline does give them another power forward option, but Bobby Portis was essentially Brook Lopez's backup center. That's going to require probably some more leaning on Giannis Antetokounmpo the rest of the way. And Giannis is playing already at a super high level, but coming off of this calf injury, which he's missed the last 7 games with, and of course that was an injury that knocked him out of the playoffs last year. They got to be careful. There's only so much more they can ask of him. They're playing him 34 minutes, 35 minutes a game. You don't really want to stretch that out. So the Bucks are in a tough spot right now. They are closer to the play-in than they are to 3rd place, sitting there in 5th. So it's a little bit of a ginger spot. They do have to, I think their focus has got to be avoid the play-in, get into the playoffs, and then you have Giannis. Giannis hasn't been healthy the last 2 playoffs. If they're at least healthy by the playoffs, which Bobby Portis would be back for, they have a puncher's chance. But they are right now probably not a team I would favor to get to the conference finals.
I'm
Wendy.
sorry. Today was like, I'm ready to be in this conversation.
Wendy, it's always fun following you because sometimes maybe it's like glass half empty, but I'm always going to go glass half full because you're right. It is a punter's chance, but there is a little bit of a buffer for them.
Okay.
There's a 5-game separation between the play-in and where they are in 5th, which means if they can hold on, get Giannis back, obviously have him healthy. If they can hold on, you're going to still have him available for the most important times where Giannis has not been healthy, which is the postseason. To me, that is the bright spot. But other than that, he was the Bucks' 3rd leading scorer until Kyle Kuzma came in. And like you said, they needed more numbers for their roster and more strong quality premier players. So this is tough. And then on top of that, he was the guy that can energize this team, energize the arena. You're missing that punch that was really desperately needed because all the stars are handling their business.
I love your positivity.
Oh, man.
But I'm with Wendy on this one. I just don't see it. Well, first, that's a lot of money to lose. I feel for him. I feel for Bobby. This miscommunication on what he was taking. I'm sure he's kicking himself right now. But this is a tough loss for the Milwaukee Bucks. And with the strength of schedule they have, they're going to need a lot of, bigger play from everybody. Taurean Prince, Gary Trent, Kyle Kuzma. Giannis is already playing a lot of minutes. With that load that he brings, off the bench scoring, the double-doubles he's averaging in the last 5-6 games, I don't see them being able to beat.
I will say this. I know that their hands are full in the Eastern Conference, right? You have the Celtics, you have the Cavs, you have the Knicks. I spoke to
Orlando's
Dame.
coming back
it's
healthy.
true. I spoke to Dame extensively at NBA All-Star. And this is a group that really has a chip on their shoulder. And I feel like they understand that if they're healthy when it matters most, they can make some noise. Now, this hurts their opportunity to be positioned well.
Yes.
But for some reason, we've talked about it. Giannis, hyper locked in into Milwaukee. Dame feels like, hey, I need more respect for what I can do, especially this being the high-scoring duo in the NBA. You need them on the floor. You need Bobby back. But I do think this is a team that still has great expectations, even though there might be a lull coming.
I think Bobby is the chip, and if him missing, that shoulder's missing a lot. So, with him being out, not only hurts, I think he comes back 4 games left, it helps a little bit, but the chemistry, that much time being out, it hurts them a lot with going forward and trying to have that rhythm going into the
I guess you're glad you have Kuz now.
Right, but the biggest piece of that puzzle is Giannis being healthy. He hasn't been the last 2 postseasons, and we know those endings for the Milwaukee Bucks. If he can be, it's sort of like when you see Giannis playing at the capacity he's able to, how can you bet against the Milwaukee Bucks? There's been a lot of doom and gloom this morning in the NBA.
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. I also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.